What's going on, guys? Socrates here, and let's take a look at
The question.
what's going on, guys. Socrates here, and let's take a look at what I look for when entering and exiting trades. This is going to be very basic and elementary, so get your notepads and listen up. All right, guys. Here we have up our 4-hour chart, and before we get any more into details, let me tell you guys all the indicators that I will ever have up on my screen, because that's the one comment and question I will always get in my comments and in my DMs. If you can look in the screen right here in this area, supply and demand by Lux Algo, which is a free indicator. We have key levels, which is another free indicator. ICT kill zones, which is another free indicator, and Spaceman key levels, which is another free indicator. Now, for my volume levels, which is down here, which would be Arena by DGT, which basically shows me the strength of the buying and the selling. Like these candles down here, the green clearly, same as here, would be the buying and selling strength. And you can get a cool little visual box with the percentage. It's just visually pleasing. This is why I like this. But now that we got that out of the way, you notice we are on a weekly chart. And you can see we're in a hefty trend for some weeks now. But anywho, we have our key levels up. And if you notice, where every key level is marked, notice the price action. Now, I'm a trader where I wait for breaks and trends. I wait for pivots. I wait for supply and demand, or you can trade our daily high retest breaks. This my main go-to strategy would be waiting for a daily high or a daily open. We would retest that, and then we would distribute after that. But I'll go in after that. But we have our weekly charts up. And the only thing really in the day-to-day basis in my day trading, not on the overall agenda, not for my long-term bias, but when we hop in the market, we need to get our bias. Before charting, what should we all do? I mean, the first thing I do is I get my cup of coffee, because we need coffee. Now that we got that out of the way, I would go look at the news. You know, in my Discord community, we have a link to all news related to futures trading, anything related to the markets, money, anything that you would really need to see for news. We would have it. We have the forex.com, economic calendars, and links to all earnings coming out. I trade gold mainly, and second after that, I trade the NAS. I don't trade any other assets other than that. I used to trade platinum and crude oil, but I found focusing on more than like one or two assets created a lot of stress and unwanted noise from my brain. So I just kind of narrowed it down to gold and the NASDAQ. And before we even get more into the charting, with gold, what correlates with gold and what helps me make decisions beyond the charting would be looking at the dollar. We could look at other precious metals. And you need to think that gold is actual wealth, because the dollar is nothing but paper. It's not backed by gold anymore. So keep that in mind. When things go to shit, gold will move. Now, when we're trading the NASDAQ, what are some things we can look at that will correlate and help us make decisions? Me personally, recently I've been looking at Nvidia because all the hype. But you can look at the SPY, you can look at the VIX, and the Magnificent Seven, and all your big tech stocks, and on a real note. But now that we got that out of the way, after I'm done looking at the weekly charts, I'm going to move it down to the 1 day. Now again, we have our key levels up, and look where they're placed at our perfect areas. As I said right here, this is an area of orders just being hit and liquidated. This is our demand, our supply, our liquidity. You know, you can call it whatever you want. In my trading journey, as I've stated in prior videos, I was not the most intelligent person, so I had to make a system and create my own terminology that made sense to me. Because in reality, the only thing that's ever happening behind these candlesticks is buying and selling. So me wasting my time to try to learn anything else would be useless to me, at least in my point of view. And anything that you will ever hear from me, guys, is my point of view and my bias, strictly. So now that we have our daily charts up, again, I'm just looking to see how price reacts around these different key levels, because if you've noticed, we will stay in these ranges when price reaches a price where it has money resting, or you might call it order blocks, or where there is liquidity resting, other people might say. But I like to call it chop. I call it market chop. As long as we're between my certain key levels, that's all I'm going to call it. And on our daily charts, for a few days, we've done nothing but just bounce back and forth. And then down here, back and forth, before we break to a new range, if you understand what I'm getting at. Now, my methodology and my psychology on trading is so simple. It's the volume's there, it's going to move. The volume's not there, it's not going to move. All we have to do is be on the right side of the move when the move is happening. Now, how do we do that? There's traders that will get way more into technical terms with our moving averages and our FVGs and our RSI. And guys, I've tried every other indicator there is in the book. As I've stated, I've been doing this for a very long time. And you need to keep in mind that almost every indicator is lagged. So does that really help us when we need current price action? And also, when we're seeing candles on these smaller time frames, you need to realize that after that candle is formed, the price action has already occurred. Now, there's other people that use order books and order flow. I like to use the order DOM, which specifically will show you some numbers being tagged. Let's see if it'll bring it up. We'll bring up the DOM. So this is the order DOM on TradeView. And the only thing that I would be looking for at the DOM is, if you see here, this is just volume. I know right now the market's closed, we don't have the volume, but there would usually be numbers to the low end and to the high end with higher volume. And I would just kind of see what numbers keep being bounced back and forth, specifically with higher volume. And then I'll be looking at that aligned with the charts, and I'll kind of see where the supply is being generated or where the demand is going to stop. And then all I have to do is think in my mind is, all right, and remember what I just said, it's only a thought in my mind. Everything that I'm ever seeing on these charts, just like you guys, it's where we're always contemplating our thoughts, second guessing, is it this, is it that, is it that, is it this? This is why, for me, less is best. Now let's break it down some more on these charts. This is gold, actually, I'm actually going to be trading live today in my community at 7 p.m. So if you're looking to join in, I'll probably be trading tonight. But we've came back down on the daily charts to a major key level after gold's been in a major run with everything that's been going on in the world politically. Trump is in office now, so yay, thank God, guys. That was pretty cool. I don't know what would happen if what's her name got in, but so I need to see how price is going to react. As I said, once we reach these potential key levels. Now, my favorite key levels that I'll enter trades in every time, as I stated before, would be a daily open or a daily high or a daily low. And now let's break it down. So right now I noticed that we've kind of reached our monthly, look, it says our monthly high right here. Did gold kind of lose its gas? I always know that we're going to have some sort of pullbacks. And for my entry and exit criteria, all I need to be is by another key level. So let's say, for instance, I was to enter a trade around these levels, because I've noticed price was just lagging around here, not really breaking out to any sort of other range. So what I would wait for is volume. All I would need is volume to enter near any sort of key level. Now, how do I hold after entering trades or stop losses? We'll get into that, or I'll make another video, because that's a whole nother conversation, my good people. But now that we are on the daily, we move it down. Now I'm on a 4-hour. And it's the same concept as every chart that I am charting on it's the same concept. And this is another reason why I love these key levels, because it's already manually there. I don't really have to do anything else. This indicator I haven't brought up yet. I will bring it up when we are on our smaller time frames. But for now, it's the same concept. I'm looking for bounces, breaks at certain key levels with volume, and that is it. Now, realistically, if we are in a day where we're ranging between key levels, I don't have a trade. And I shouldn't trade because my setup won't show up, and I'll probably be looking to make trades within my key levels, and my trades will probably hit my stop losses and my biases and ideas, because remember, anytime I enter a trade, it's nothing but my idea. And I'm okay with that. As long as we have a plan, we can never lose. But if it goes against me, we close the trade and move on. So the 4-hour chart, the same basis. I'm looking to see how price reacts with volume. That is the only thing I ever want to look at, is key levels with volume, supply and demand with volume. Now, to be honest, based on gold, we might be going long pretty soon. We reached down our quarterly open down here. And if we bring up this key level, this is a 4-hour chart. We broke our daily low and our monthly open price. You see, look at all these major key levels. And now these are key levels I love to enter. Now look what happened once we've touched these key levels. As I said, what is my favorite point of entry? It would be a bounce off of a daily low, or a retest or bounce off of a daily high zone. And that is exactly what happened. We came to our daily low and it bounced right back up, breaking through another couple key levels. But look how once we reached another area of supply, our pivot. Now, I like to use previous price action, and patterns, you might say. So between here and here is a little gap. Some might call it missed entries, or liquidity resting, or orders that might be there. I just call it a gap, because why am I going to call it anything else than that? But look how price reacted once we reached this certain gap, how price reacted there before. You know, history always repeats itself till there is a change made. And that change could be human sentiment and news and what's going on in the world. Now, the only reason any of these is ever moving is human sentiment, and someone somewhere is pressing a buy and sell button. Now, it could be us degen retail traders worldwide, because there's a lot of us just sit here pressing this button. Or it could be your big banks, your institutions, your groups doing this in a calculated algorithmic move. They know that us retail traders are dumb, because we sit here and we try to come up with all these different terms and ideas on what is really happening to the charts, when realistically price is reacting to human sentiment. So what should I focus on as a beginner trader? I would focus on maybe how does news affect the market? Maybe how do people spend money during times of turmoil, during times of recession, during times of high inflation? That will definitely give you an edge on what the flow of money and how the market moves. Because in my trading, I've realized I don't want to think like a retail trader. I want to think like a bank, like an institution. But realistically, guys, I have to be realistic. I am not a bank. I am not an institution. I am Socrates in my office. Soon to be my own hedge fund, guys. I'm currently in the process and back in school to become a licensed hedge fund and broker, and I will be giving out my own prop firms in our community very soon. So kudos for that, guys. So stay tuned. But yes, now that we have the 4-hour, look how price reacted at this quarterly open and our daily low prices. I'm going to wait. Personally, it's Sunday today, guys. So you guys know, everybody, there's so many people in my Discord community now who are so happy for Sunday to come so they can trade futures again. And we always get that volume to come in. What I've noticed when trading gold is through the day, I mean New York open to close, whatever trend or whatever way the money was going during those sessions, it will always follow suit around that Asian market time, around 9:15 to 9:35 to 9:45. And you can backtest this, and if something happens for you, please comment below. But every time around between 9:15 and 9:40, the market, that session will follow the trend within the entirety of the New York session. And I found to have high accuracy just trading that alone. But all right, back to the subject on hand. Let's move down to a 1 hour chart, which again, guys, would be the same concept as every other time frame that I have been on. Now, lately, I've been getting entries on the 1 hour time frame alone. I like to get my entries on the 5 minute, but we're not there yet. But again, the same concept. Look how price reacts at these key levels. I haven't brought up my supply and demand yet indicator too. You will see where supply and demand is generated. But I also have a video that I'm working on where I explain what supply and demand is in the most simplest terms ever. But anywho, so again, we are on the 1 hour chart frame, and we are looking to find the trend. We're looking to find the entries. We're looking to find a way to make our trade become profitable. Now, that on the 4 hour, remember what I said. I said my bias was longs. Now, based on the 1 hour, it changed up a little bit because now I noticed how we came here to this price range, our daily high. We didn't even cross it. We touched it. And look what price, it touched it twice. And price quickly fell and rejected sellers came in. Buyers tried to fight back in. This is my mentality, how I think. The buyers tried to stop the sellers at this point, which was another key level, which was an AWAP level, another key level, a possible entry or exit zone in my eyes. But the buyers tried to come back in and take over the day, or retail traders probably thought, oh man, the market, it's a FVG, it's a retest, let's buy right here. So dumb money bought here because they just saw an FVG form on the 1 hour time frame. If they were scalpers, they probably made money. But if they're the average gambler who likes to hold trades when they're in profit, they got fucked. And trades went right back to their stops. Now, it's Sunday, guys. We need more price action. But let's bring it down, guys. Let's bring the time frames down. Now, to the 15. Again, the same concept as every other time frame. Notice how price flips and reacts and changes near each and every one of these key levels. I really don't think I need to explain anymore. All I would need is volume. Once we hit a key level, other traders wait for other signs of confirmation, and I'm not talking bad about them, even all these FEG traders, ICT, I'm never talking bad about them. They have their system. They've built their system and it works for them. It's my purpose of this content is to show you my point of view and maybe help you alleviate some stress that maybe other people might put in the market. There's a lot of misinformation because there's a lot of lack of information of the majority of people. So the people who have somewhat of a marketing mindset brain will take advantage of that. Even me doing this video right now, this is my way of marketing. But if you join me in my Discord, in my live trading, I explain how I market. Then I also teach you guys like what I'm doing and then how to also promote yourself, because at the end of the day, when we create our YouTubes and our Instagrams, we are promoting ourselves. We are selling ourselves. We are doing it for some sort of stream of another revenue. And I like money. I see no wrong capitalizing on my skills. Colleges do it. You guys, if I've stated in plenty of other videos, as I've been homeless, I've been to the bottom, so I'm on personal missions to prove to myself that I can and will be better than anything that I've ever thought I once was. back to the charts and stop being Socrates for a second. So now that we get to the 15-minute, we're going to move it down to the 5-minute. Now the 5-minute is where I use my entries. This is my entry point. Now all I need to do is be near what, guys? A key level. Now again, our daily levels are my favorite zones. Now let's do a little bit more explaining on these smaller time frames, because there's a lot of noise that happens. And look at the difference in the charting on here than compared to the 1 hour. It looks a whole lot different, and this is where the confusion comes in here. But this is why we have a plan, and we stay true to our plans. Now, if I'm looking to enter any trades here right now, we are currently at our daily AWAP level. But look how price kept bouncing, sort of generating this area of demand, or we would call it supply because we're up here. But on the 5-minute, it would be our demand. So we have our area of demand. Price doesn't really know where it wants to go. Right here, we had a spike. We probably had some volume. What time was this? Yes, there was volume that came in. Probably power hour or something. And it quickly died off. You know, people probably thought, oh, here's the bounce. Gold's going to continue and touch that 3,000 point. You know, I've even said it. I was hoping on gold touching 3,000. But now that Trump's back in office, you know, the money and dollar might start getting stronger again. I'll make another video on that explaining what my thesis is. But hopefully this video gives you a grasp on what I look for to make my trades. Now, it definitely goes more in depth when I'm looking at news or looking at the seasonal shifts, because money changes in seasons, during summer, during holidays, during anything, guys. And yeah, this is how I trade. But based on this 1 hour time frame, we are at a high. We've broken out our high point. We are at our daily high. Bro, look at the price. It's time for a reversal. I'm not sure on to where this reversal will get to, but they will happen. And the longevity of the market, guys, you have to realize that it's only going to go up. Every day there's new companies being built. There's all new ways of revenue being made by these companies. These companies are just finding new ways to create new revenue. Of course, we're always going to have pullbacks during times of recessions and whatever's going on in the world, but that's when smart money and big money is buying in, and it's just always repeats itself. It's always a show. But yeah, guys, this is how I trade on a daily basis. These are the only indicators I will ever have up on my screen at all times. There's also a pretty cool feature. Let me see if it's working right now. On TradeView, where it will also show you all chart patterns. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work. It only works during when the market's open. And auto trend lines. Now, I don't use these to make decisions. I just wanted to look at it because someone asked me a question. But I think it would be very useful for a beginner trader who's paper trading and like, I don't look at all those, patterns, this, that. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't, but realistically, I need breaks out of certain key levels with volume. If a double top occurs, better. If a head and shoulders occurs, it's okay, because people come up with different sayings and terminologies for the same movement that's happening. And that's what's so amazing about trading and amazing about people, and why mindset is crazy, because if there's thousands of strategies and hundreds of different ways to enter a trade and exit a trade, and all these different people are either profitable or unprofitable, it's just amazing. And ultimately it comes down to you. Now, I know I just did a video on a little bit of how I look at the charts, but for me and how I trade, charting is not it's does not outweigh the psychology point of trading, because now that you've seen on my charts how the price reacts when we reach these certain key levels, it's, do I have the confidence to enter when I first see that switch? Do I have that anticipation? What is going on in my mind, man? This is it. Now, when we're in trades and when we hold and do this and do that, etc., stay tuned for the next video and let me know if this video helped you out. If it didn't, also let me know how to do better. This is my, my third real serious video posted on YouTube, and so far it's going great, guys. So, yeah, I trade key levels, I trade breaks, I trade pivots, and ultimately it comes down to me and how I feel and my emotions of the day. And did I follow my plan? I'll say it here. My strategy is, or my system is, I like to target between $2,000 and $5,000 a day, depending on market conditions. Now, if it's my setups are not showing up, and my first trade was rough and it didn't really go how I feel, my confidence will be different. So I will lower my target based on my confidence. And when I'm in wins, my mindset is different. That's why I raise my target, because, also I'm someone that likes risk and I'll cater to risk. But you shouldn't be taking any unnecessary risks until you can afford to say, I can sit here and lose $1,000 and it's not going to affect me. And when you get to that level, that's when you can take more risks and say, hey man, I made it. But thank you for tuning in, guys.